Late at night, I was in unbearable abdominal pain and asked Santiago to take me to the hospital. He told me to endure it. Julia's building lost power. She's scared with the kid alone. I'll go check on her first. He didn't come home that night. The next morning, Julia sent me a photo. In the picture, Santiago was wearing a crayon Shinchan apron, holding a spatula, looking helpless. Julia said, "Santiago is going to be a great dad one day." I was lying in a hospital bed, having just lost my child. I replied, "He's yours." Chapter 1. When 520 falls on a Saturday, you have to celebrate. We'll go to the movies first, then dinner. What do you feel like eating? How about seafood buffet? I said, excited. Santiago hesitated. What's wrong? I asked. Julia said Sophia wants to go to Castle Park tomorrow. There's some kind of themed event. Julia's afraid she can't handle her alone. She can't ask her parents? Or her friends? Why does it have to be you? I was holding in a breath of frustration. Santiago sighed. Her parents are old and tired, and tomorrow is 520. Plus a Saturday. Her friends have their own plans. Oh, so you know it's 522? Everyone else has plans, except me? Santiago frowned, raising his voice. Why are you so bothered by a child? You think she knows what 520 means? My face turned cold. I got up to leave. He panicked and pulled me back. Rita, don't do this. You know how it is when Julia asks me. I can't say no. I was exhausted. When is this going to end? Santiago said. When Sophia grows up and Julia gets used to doing things alone. Even he didn't believe himself. And I had nowhere to place my anger. So I gave in again. Forget it. It's ruined. Chapter 2. My husband spent 520 with another woman. I couldn't get mad, couldn't complain. I even had to smile and act supportive. They had a great time, and even ate the seafood buffet I wanted. I was stuck at home, eating instant noodles, furious. I impulsively bought the luxury handbag I had been eyeing forever, but never dared to purchase. Using Santiago's credit card. Soon, Santiago called. He sounded cheerful. Not mad anymore? I replied stiffly. I wasn't mad to begin with. Right. Our sweet little Rita is always so chill. What did you eat for lunch? I glanced at my noodles, just as I was about to reply. I heard Julia's voice in the background. Santiago. I'm tired. Can you carry Sophia? Little chubby girl. Did you gain more baby fat? Ugh. Naughty mommy. I want daddy cuddles. That daddy felt like a bomb going off in my head. Santiago. Rita. I'll talk to you later, okay? He hung up. My heart twisted like a rope. Without thinking, I called back. No answer. Hung up. Called again. Still no answer. The fourth time, Julia picked up. Rita? Something wrong? Where's Santiago? Put him on. She ignored the chill in my voice. Oh, he took Sophia on the SkyTram. Can't take calls right now. Need me to pass along a message later? The absurdity of the situation struck me hard. It was like she was the wife, and I was some clueless outsider. Julia continued. Don't worry, Santiago's fine. We're having such a good time. I'll send you a few photos later, so you can feel the festive vibe too. I didn't let her finish. I hung up. If I hadn't, I would have cussed her out. Chapter 3. The Julia I see now feels like a complete stranger. And yet, it's only been a year since everything happened. Time changes everything, oceans turn into mulberry fields. Julia's husband was named Ryan. He was Santiago's childhood best friend. A year ago, he passed away. Suddenly, without warning. That day was like any other. Ryan got off work and called Santiago to play basketball. Santiago left early because he wanted to bring back some duck snacks for me. Ryan was still in high spirits, wanting to keep playing. But just 30 minutes after Santiago left, Ryan died of a heart attack. It shattered Santiago. He sank into a dark pit of guilt and self-loathing. If I had just stayed for half a minute more, even 30 seconds, I could have saved him. Santiago's a doctor. He believed he should have saved Ryan. But on that day, he left early. The regret almost drowned him. I couldn't bear to watch him suffer like that. So, when Julia didn't know how to deal with a blocked drain and asked for help, I told Santiago he could go. It was the first time. 3 months after Ryan died. Chapter 4. Julia kept her word. She sent me dozens of photos in a neat little package. There were pictures of Santiago holding Sofia, Santiago walking hand in hand with her, Santiago peeling shrimp for her. In every image, Santiago's face was full of tenderness. The way he looked at Sofia, it was all affection and indulgence. I zoomed in on one particular photo, one of the rare ones where Julia herself appeared. She and Santiago were on either side of Sofia, the three of them smiling happily. It looked so natural. They looked like a real family, like father, mother, and daughter. Santiago didn't come home until 10 p.m. He looked exhausted. The moment he saw me, he said, "God, I'm wiped out. Sofia's got so much energy, I'm about to collapse. And she's still bouncing around like crazy. Don't let her size fool you, she's wilder than most boys. Oh, and something really funny happened today," he went on excitedly, describing all of Sofia's little moments, like a proud dad bragging about his daughter. I just stared at him in silence. After a long pause with no reply, Santiago finally realized something was wrong. "What's the matter? Are you mad?" I asked him. "Don't you have anything else to tell me?" Santiago frowned. Even his tired face couldn't hide the hint of annoyance. If there were a narrator here, his internal monologue would probably be, "What now? Just say what you want to say." That added another layer of frustration to my already sour mood. "Santiago, why did Sofia call you dad?" He rubbed his temples, clearly irritated. "She misses her father. She asked if she could call me dad for the day. What was I supposed to do, say no? No explanation, no apology, no guilt. Just like so many times before." He threw the responsibility back to me. We ended the night on a bitter note. I kicked him out of our bedroom and into the guest room. He tried a few times to come talk things out. I turned him away. Eventually, he got pissed too, and with a cold face, walked into the guest room without another word. Chapter 5. When Ryan was still alive, he spoiled Julia to the core. Everyone knew he was a wife guy, and once their daughter was born, he turned into a full-blown girl dad. To be fair, Julia was someone worth spoiling. She was beautiful, well-educated, and smart. She gave up a promising career to become a full-time stay-at-home mom for Ryan. Ryan once said, "I owe her double for that." And he meant it. Over time, Julia was spoiled into total helplessness. She didn't even know how to pay utilities. Santiago tried to teach her. She pouted. "It's too hard." Santiago gave up. "Fine. I'll just do it for you from now on." Julia didn't know how to cook. Once, she almost set the kitchen on fire. Santiago had to drop everything and rush over. Eventually, he just started ordering takeout for her. She can't order it herself? It's no trouble. When a light bulb went out, Julia didn't know what to do. She could call a handyman. She's a woman alone with a child. Letting strange men in? It's not safe. One time, Santiago and I were in bed, finishing up a late-night assignment. Things were getting intimate. Julia called. "Sofia threw up. What do I do?" "Santiago, help me." He didn't hesitate. Threw on his clothes and ran out. Didn't even have time to pull the blanket over me. Later we found out Julia had fed Sofia spicy river snail noodles. Sofia was too young and ended up in the hospital from the heat. Julia couldn't go out alone with her kid. Not for fun. Not even in emergencies. Santiago always showed up when she called. He took on Ryan's responsibilities. And slowly, that seemed to calm the storm inside him. I knew he was trying to make amends. But the longer this atonement went on, the worse I felt. I was reaching my limit. Chapter 6. I planned to talk to Santiago, but when I got up in the morning, he was already gone. Breakfast was on the table, packed neatly in a thermal box. Congee, steamed buns, eggs. Next to it was a note. "Rita, I'm sorry. I lost my temper yesterday. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. You've been so patient with me, spoiling me. Really, can you give me a little more time?" I sat there in silence for a long time, then quietly ate the breakfast. Santiago was truly busy. When I called him, a nurse answered. She said he was in surgery. 1 in the morning. 2 more in the afternoon. No way he'd get off work on time, since I wasn't busy today. I decided to make him a homemade meal and bring it to the hospital. It had been a long time since I brought him food. Not because I didn't want to, just, things between us had gotten colder and colder. When I arrived at the department, I greeted the nurse. She looked at me wide-eyed, completely stunned, even stuttered. I didn't think much of it at first, but the moment I opened Santiago's office door, I understood. They thought I was there to catch him cheating. Julia was curled up in his chair, barefoot. She was playing games on her phone, with Santiago's jacket draped over her legs. There was a box of cupcakes on the desk, already half-eaten. What did I feel? Not quite surprised, not even that shocked. Just, my heart sank again, deeper this time. Julia looked up. Oh hey, Rita, come in. Make yourself at home. Want a cupcake? Santiago got them for me. He didn't want me to go hungry. Chapter 7. Julia hasn't been feeling well lately. Being alone at home makes her overthink. She just wanted someone to have dinner with. I couldn't say no. That's the explanation I got, after waiting an hour. At this point, I can't even tell where Santiago's boundaries are anymore. Today it's dinner in your office. Tomorrow what, bring her home? And the day after that? Why not just give her half the bed too? Santiago frowned. What kind of nonsense is that? I sighed. Sometimes, you really bring the punishment onto yourself. This morning, you asked me to give you time. Here's my answer, no. I got up to leave. Santiago grabbed my wrist. What does that mean? It means, Santiago, either you kick Julia out of our life, or I kick you out. You choose. His eyes burned with anger. He stared at me. So I guess you're forcing me now? I clenched my teeth. Forcing you? When you said you wanted to give them, an abandoned widow and child, 200,000 yuan. I agreed without even blinking. For the past 6 months, thanks to Julia, I've basically lived like a single woman in a dead marriage. What more do you want from me? Santiago, I've tolerated enough. It's time you made a decision. I don't get it. He growled. Ryan's gone. I just wanted to help his family. Why is that so unbearable to you? Nothing's going on between me and Julia. Why are you blowing this out of proportion? I looked at him, full of disappointment. I never thought he'd play dumb this convincingly. Let go. Santiago's face went cold, but instead of releasing me, his grip tightened. Disgust rose in my throat. I said let go. I struggled, then suddenly turned my head and threw up. Santiago panicked, trying to hold me. What's wrong? Are you sick? Breathless, I said through gritted teeth. I'm fine, just sick of your bullshit. Santiago's grip tightened again, this time, digging painfully into my shoulder. Chapter 8. Santiago and I entered a cold war. But, he seemed to be changing. He still left early and came back late. I didn't know what he was really like at the hospital. But at home, no more midnight calls. No more sudden disappearances. Still, I didn't feel better. It felt like something heavy was pressing down on my chest. Sometimes I could barely breathe. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I'm not a fragile, emotional person. If I were, I wouldn't have tolerated Santiago for so long. But Julia, she had truly pushed me to my limit. One day, I lay in bed, feeling suffocated, half asleep. I heard the bedroom door open. Santiago walked in. Moments later, the bed dipped beside me. He slipped under the blanket and wrapped his arms around me. I opened my eyes. His face was pressed against my back. He whispered, muffled, "Don't be mad at me. I'll change." He promised. He wouldn't let Julia into his office again, wouldn't order food for her, wouldn't go to her house alone. And if he had to go, he'd take me along. He swore he'd phase Julia out of our life. So when Julia called again, said her water pipes burst and she didn't know what to do, I went with Santiago to her place. Julia opened the door quickly. She was soaked, wearing a fiery red silk camisole, clinging to her skin. Nothing underneath, everything visible. Before I could react, she hugged herself and screamed, like I was the intruding stranger, like I was the threat. I turned cold, grabbed Santiago and walked away. How many times has this happened? What are you talking about? She shows up in revealing clothes in front of you. How many times now? Santiago went silent. I'm just trying to help. Why do you have to twist it into something dirty? Oh, so I'm the dirty one now. Santiago, let's get divorced. What? Suddenly. You just feel dirty to me. I don't know when it started. But being near you makes my skin crawl. Chapter 9. In the end, Santiago didn't go upstairs, but he did call building maintenance. See? That easy. We went home in silence. Santiago said, Rita, can we talk? I shook my head, too tired, worn out, inside and out. Tomorrow. I fell into a heavy, foggy sleep. In the middle of the night, a sharp, twisting pain in my stomach jolted me awake. It was excruciating. Cold sweat poured down my back. Santiago. Santiago. I whispered his name, unsure if I was even making a sound. Then, Santiago pushed open the bedroom door. I didn't notice, in my pain, that he was fully dressed. I grabbed his hand. Santiago. My stomach hurts. Take me to the hospital. But he pulled his hand away. Stomach pain? Rita, just hold on. I'll take you later. Julia's neighborhood has a power outage. Sophia's terrified. She's having night terrors again. I have to go check on her. Santiago, take me to the hospital. I didn't know how serious it was. Only that something in me was screaming, go now. Santiago brushed my hand off. Be reasonable. Sophia's Ryan's only child in this world. Do you have to compete with her? Then he walked out. Didn't look at my ghost white face. Didn't care about my trembling pleas. My heart dropped. Shattered. Ah. A sharp cry tore from my throat. I threw off the blanket and saw red everywhere. I called a local rideshare. The couple who drove me didn't even blink at the blood. They rushed me to the hospital. I lost the baby. My first child. Came and went without a sound. I asked the doctor why. She gently said, your body made the decision for you. You're not in a good condition to carry a pregnancy right now. It was trying to protect you. So that's how it is. Turns out the only one who protects me is me. I drifted in and out of consciousness. At some point, I replied to Julia's message, half awake. Didn't care what I said. When I opened my eyes again, Santiago was standing beside my bed, his face haggard, eyes bloodshot. I wasn't surprised. This was his hospital. Plenty of people here had seen me. Someone would have told him. Santiago gripped my hand, trembling. Rita, it's okay. We'll have another baby. I pulled my hand away, cold as stone. Santiago. Let's get a divorce. His face twitched. Rita, I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't know it was that serious. Please, give me another chance. Santiago. Divorce. He refused. When I was discharged, he brought me home himself. Took a full vacation just to care for me. Sweet, attentive, responsible. I accepted it calmly. I lost his child. This was the least he could do. And he is a doctor. He knows how to take care of someone properly. It was during this recovery that I learned. Santiago could cook, but he didn't learn for me. And the first meal he ever made wasn't for me either. He said a lot of things. He begged, promised, swore he'd never help Julia again, said he just wanted to live a normal life with me. But I'd let go. People never leave until that last straw breaks their back. Why didn't I leave sooner? Even though I knew this was coming? Because I loved him, and unless that love is burned to ashes, you never really walk away. Well, now it's ash. There's only one thing left to say to Santiago. Let's get a divorce. He collapsed emotionally, devastated, at a loss. That's when Julia showed up. She said she wanted to talk, so I invited her over while Santiago was out grocery shopping. Julia was as polished as ever, wearing a chic designer dress, hair perfectly styled, flawless makeup, fresh manicure. She said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to lose the baby. I chuckled. Are you confessing to something? Should I call the police? Her face stiffened. Say what you came to say. You don't have much time. After a long silence, she spoke. Please let me have Santiago. I can't survive without him. You're not like me. You have a job, a future. I've lost all connection to the world. I'm raising a child. Only Santiago can take care of us. Honestly, I don't understand Julia. She graduated from a top university, worked for a Fortune 500 company. How did she turn into a parasitic vine? But that's not my problem. I looked her over. I already asked Santiago for a divorce. He's the one who won't agree. So if you want to cling to him, you'll have to try harder. Julia left. Santiago came home. I asked again. Let's get a divorce. He stared at me, then walked straight into the kitchen. Like he didn't hear a thing. Chapter 10. Divorce isn't easy. If we can't reach an agreement, we'll have to go to court. And honestly, lawsuits are exhausting, time-consuming, draining. Might as well wait for some third-party catalyst. With that thought, I stopped rushing. Santiago must have been pushed to his limit. The man who hadn't left my side in days finally asked for a day off. A friend just moved to a new place. They invited us for a housewarming. Do you want to come with me? I turned a page of my book. No. Then I'll just grab a quick bite and be back. I kept reading, but even after finishing the page, he was still standing there. I looked up, puzzled. Something else? Santiago's expression was off. He forced a smile and shook his head. Do you want anything? I can bring you something to eat. No need. Okay, I'll be back soon. When the door closed behind him, I put the book down, closed my eyes, exhaled. I knew what he was hoping for. He wanted me to say something, to tell him not to drink, to drive safe, to come home early, like I used to. But what he never realized is that, when he kept leaving early and coming back late for Julia, I took those reminders back. Not because I was strong, but because I was hurt. It became a silent test. If I don't text you, will you reach out first? If I don't call, do you even notice I'm upset? I pretend to be understanding. Do you realize I'm pretending? I say it's fine. Go ahead, but I'm praying you'll say forget it. I'll stay with you. But Santiago, not once did he give me what I hoped for. So much disappointment, so much silence. It was like he held my hand and led me forward, only to be distracted by something else. I struggled, tried to make him notice, but he never once looked back, just walked further and further away, until the crowd swallowed him whole. And when I finally let go, turned around, then he turned back, looking for me. What do you even call that? A love delayed? Was I hurt? Of course. But more than that, I felt empty. Santiago came home late. I heard the door. He opened the guest room door, then closed it again. I thought he'd gone to bed. Got up to get water. Found him sitting quietly on the couch. I paused. He looked up, saw me, and immediately hid his vulnerability. He smiled. What's wrong? Hungry? No, just thirsty. I opened the fridge. Just as I reached for a bottle, Santiago stood up. Don't drink cold water. I'll boil some for you. No need. It's fine. Just 2 minutes. Don't bother. It's really no trouble. Just wait a bit. Santiago. I stopped him. I'm not thirsty anymore. I turned to leave, but Santiago stumbled toward me, bumping into the table with a grunt. He grabbed my hand. Rita, I don't get it. How did we get to this point? Santiago reeked of alcohol. His voice was hoarse, and his hands trembled. Rita, am I really that unforgivable? My nose stung. I looked up and let out a breath. Do you know what I was thinking the day I had the miscarriage? While you were at Julia's, making breakfast for her and Sophia? When she said you'd make a great dad? I thought, good thing I lost the baby. A choking sound escaped from Santiago's throat. After the miscarriage, I never talked to him about the baby, because there was nothing to say. He left, before we even knew he existed. Maybe he just knew we weren't fit to be his parents. Santiago, did you ever wonder what would have happened if we hadn't lost the baby? Santiago said nothing. I went on. I probably would have forgiven you. You didn't cheat. Not technically. You didn't cross a clear line. You just kept helping her because you felt bad for her. And once we had a kid, I would have told myself it'll get better. We'd build a future. I would have talked myself into staying. And that would have been the beginning of the end. It wouldn't. Rita, we would have been happy. It's my fault. All of it. I messed up. I failed you. I failed the baby. It's all on me. Santiago muttered stubbornly. Santiago. I asked quietly. If our baby had been born, and one day, Julia's child and ours got sick at the same time, who would you take to the hospital first? I swear, I would. He rushed to answer. I cut him off. You'd take Julia's kid. Because she's helpless. She wouldn't know where to register, where to get the meds. She'd get lost in the hospital. And yes, maybe you'd feel guilty about your own child, but you'd tell yourself, he's my son. I've got a lifetime to make it up to him. And over time, that guilt would fade, until it all just became understandable, reasonable, expected. He has a dad. She doesn't. Can't you be the bigger person? She's already pitiful. Why are you making her compete with you? You're already lucky. Why are you being so selfish? A child with a father, who feels like they have none, just like me. A wife with a husband, who might as well be a ghost. I wouldn't. I'd never do that. Santiago shook his head, panicking. His words weak and hollow. I looked straight at him. No? Then why have you already been doing it? Santiago's face turned ashen. I'll change. Rita, I swear I will. I nodded. I believe you, but I don't dare bet on it. How long does the memory of a miscarriage last? A month? 2? 6 months? Maybe? Of course he'll change. He's human. If he didn't, he'd be a monster. But Julia is still here. Her child is still here. And all the chaos is still here. Can he really turn his back on all of it? Ignore it forever? No, this will only cycle again. And honestly, I no longer believe in change. I believe in repetition. Chapter 11. Julia messaged me. You're going to divorce him, right? I frowned. Didn't plan to reply. But in the end, I couldn't help myself. Try acting like a human being for once. Santiago deleted all of Julia's contact info right in front of me. Before he did, I saw countless missed calls and unread messages. His sudden change of attitude freaked Julia out. In the end, she was never cut out to survive 80 episodes in the royal harem. Just a few days ago, Ryan's father was hospitalized for hypertension. I heard that Ryan's widow stayed by his side day and night. Such devotion. How touching. But Julia? She doesn't know how to care for anyone. Can't even take proper care of her own kid. Still, that was probably her last way to get close to Santiago. And judging from the message she sent me, her intentions were obvious. What I didn't expect was how fast she'd act. That night, Santiago didn't come home. Around midnight, Julia sent me 2 explicit photos. Her and Santiago, in bed. And in that moment, all I could think was, of course. Chapter 12. I waited all night. The next morning, when I opened the door, Santiago was leaning against the wall. I didn't know how long he'd been there, but the pile of cigarette butts said, a while. He looked up at me, gave a strained, pitiful smile. Rita, are you hungry? I'll cook something for you. I shook my head. You said the wrong thing. You should have said, Rita, let's get a divorce. Santiago looked like he was about to collapse. You know, I said nothing. He stepped forward, trying to grab me. I backed away, frozen in place. He whispered, I was drunk. Rita, I didn't mean to. I was drunk. I was so tired of his lies. Santiago, you're a doctor. Are you telling me alcohol can now take full control of a man's body and force him to do something he never wanted? Really? It's just booze. I don't believe in drunk mistakes. I only believe in drunk hookups. Santiago clenched his fists. You wanted this, didn't you? What? Julia showed me your messages. You were provoking her. Hoping she'd do something. You were just waiting for me to screw up, weren't you? It's funny how far disappointment can go before it turns into laughter. So I just had to wait long enough, and you'd fall right into it. Huh? Good. I'm glad I didn't forgive you. Chapter 13. Santiago and I got divorced. He walked away with nothing. Gave me the money, the house, the car. His only request was, Rita, please don't hate me. I said nothing. Hate? That's far too passionate a feeling. I had the car rewrapped. What used to be a sensible black is now a flashy red. I even changed the interior. New seat covers and all. The whole thing looks brand new. One day, I found Santiago's workout equipment in a cabinet. He never used it. Too busy at first with work. And later, with Julia. So I gave it to the high schooler downstairs. He was thrilled. His mom gave me a bag of tomatoes in return. Santiago didn't take his pillow with him. It was a latex one, expensive. Yes, but admittedly comfortable. Still, used is used. I threw it out while I was at it. I changed all the bedding too. Santiago liked dark tones, but me? I've always preferred lighter ones. I found a few of his medical books wedged between mine. I boxed them up and shipped them to the hospital. The gifts he gave me? I listed them online. They sold pretty well, little by little. I scrubbed all traces of Santiago from my life. I shed quite a few tears in the process. After all, he was the man who walked with me from school uniform to wedding gown. None of this was hard. The hardest part? Our parents. We divorced quietly. And by the time they found out, well, it was too late. His mom and mine both came crying to me. One called me impulsive. The other scolded her son for being immature. I explained our issues. But I didn't mention that Santiago slept with Julia. That was my way of letting him leave with some dignity. But Julia didn't want that. She showed up at Santiago's house demanding marriage. Said if he didn't marry her, she'd make everything public. His parents nearly ended up in the hospital from the stress. My mom changed targets and started cursing out Santiago. But life, it goes on. I go to work alone, come home alone, and slowly learn to enjoy the solitude. Didn't take long to adjust. My mom asked me, "Do you plan to remarry?" I politely declined. Probably not. She started crying again. Said Santiago ruined me. It was exhausting. But what I really wanted to say was, there are so many ways to be happy. Marriage is just the riskiest one. Shoo, that's just how I feel. It doesn't apply to everyone. Chapter 14. Santiago and Julia got married. No wedding, just paperwork. But the people who needed to know, knew. And with that, the gossips started flowing. Some said Santiago's intentions were never pure. He gave Julia 200,000 yuan and bent over backwards to help her. Maybe he was into her from the very beginning. Maybe even when Ryan was still alive. They already weren't so clean. Gossip. You know, it always gets dirtier, never cleaner. Some said Julia was like superglue. Once she stuck to you, there was no peeling her off. Santiago asked for it, ran headfirst into this mess. And now? Well, he got what he wanted. Others actually envied Julia. Being pretty has its perks. One man dies, and another, even better one, takes his place. Living like that? That's winning. Julia, they said, was clever, landed herself a good man. That was the general consensus. But only Julia knew. She wasn't happy. Not at all. She tolerated the no wedding thing. After all, Ryan had only been dead a year. It'd look bad. But what she hadn't expected was that Santiago would make her live in the hospital dorms. He'd given everything to Rita. The house, the car, the money. Rita was ruthless, furious. Julia went to find her. She demanded that Rita renegotiate the property split with Santiago. Rita smiled, cool and calm. Oh, so you'll return the 200,000 yuan Santiago gave you too? Julia, you're such a saint. Julia's chest tightened with rage. She screamed, "You're shameless." Rita's tone didn't change. As long as I still think of you as human. Don't test my patience. Julia was stunned. Rita had never talked to her like that. Back when Julia kept provoking her, Rita hadn't even dared breathe too loudly. Wasn't she the easy one to bully? Why had she changed? Julia didn't know. All the dignity Rita ever gave her was out of respect for Ryan. She was Ryan's widow, the mother of Ryan's only child, and the dead deserve respect. Not just Rita. Everyone treated her that way. Everyone who still spoke to Julia, who made things easier for her. They did it for Ryan, including Santiago. But now, everyone had changed. Those women who used to shop, gossip, and get manicures with her? Gone. When Julia confronted one of them, she said, "We only kept inviting you out because we felt sorry for you. But you seem just fine now." The gym she used to visit for free suddenly refused to let her in. She asked why. The owner smiled awkwardly. "Have Santiago pay for a membership. He's not short on money." Julia was furious. Told Santiago everything, hoping for comfort. But Santiago only said, "They were Ryan's friends, not yours." That hit hard. So without Ryan, she didn't have a single friend left. No, wait. She still had Santiago. Santiago was the one person who treated her better than anyone, even better than Ryan. And that was enough. It was okay that he gave up everything. He made good money anyway, enough to support her. Chapter 15. But Santiago had changed too. She wanted to move back into the big house. Santiago refused. That was Ryan's house. "You should sell it and give half the money to Ryan's parents." Julia's eyes widened. "Why would I do that?" "Because it belonged to Ryan. His parents have inheritance rights too. They're only staying quiet because of the child. You should have the decency to do what's right." Julia was furious. She locked herself in the room, hoping Santiago would come comfort her, like he used to. But he didn't. He didn't comfort her, didn't cook for her. When she said she was hungry, Santiago told her to eat at the hospital cafeteria. When she said she didn't like the food there, he told her to order takeout. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. Julia felt tears sting her eyes. Back then, Santiago used to balance her meals. He'd even cook for her sometimes. He had said, "As long as I have time, I'll come cook for you. You still need to eat well." Julia confronted him. Santiago rubbed his temples, visibly exhausted. "That was because I was worried you'd stop taking care of yourself." After losing Ryan so suddenly, Julia had a special ability to ignore everything she didn't want to hear. So she snapped, "So you're not worried about me anymore?" Santiago looked at her strangely. "If you were really grieving, why were you in such a hurry to crawl into my bed?" Chapter 16. This was the life Julia had fought for. And yet, she wasn't happy at all. Santiago was always angry with her. He got mad when she hired a cleaner. He got mad when she sent her clothes to the dry cleaner. He got mad when she asked the maid to cook. He got mad when she didn't pick up Sophia on time. He got mad when she didn't know how to take Sophia to the doctor. But clearly, all of this was Santiago's fault. These used to be his responsibilities. He was the one who was supposed to take care of both her and Sophia. He was the one who gave up. So what was wrong with her hiring help? Was she supposed to do it herself? She didn't know how. Julia decided it was time Santiago learned a lesson. She signed up for a tour group and took off on a spontaneous trip. She had fun, a lot of it, until one day, her card got declined. Julia froze. She called Santiago, told him to transfer her money. Santiago said coldly, "There's none left." "What do you mean, none left?" "I mean exactly that. There's no money." Julia didn't believe him. She rushed home that very night. She confronted him. "You're not even giving me money anymore?" "Santiago, how could you do this to me?" Santiago's face was blank. "I don't have any." "I don't believe you." Santiago let out a laugh. "I'm a doctor, Julia, just a regular doctor. Why did you ever think I was loaded?" "But before, you clearly..." He cut her off. "That was when I had Rita. She helped carry the burden. What do you do? You're completely useless." Julia had never been spoken to like that before. She screamed. Then I want a divorce. Santiago calmly pulled out the divorce papers. Sign it. Chapter 17. Julia was only trying to scare Santiago. Divorce? As if. Who else could she find if she left him? All she wanted was for Santiago to give her money, but when she saw how firm his attitude was, she panicked. Still, she gritted her teeth and refused to back down. If you cornered her, she would cry. Santiago used to fear her tears once. Now, he just stared blankly, even a bit coldly. Then, he muttered to himself. Back then, I refused too. Was that how she felt? Julia had no idea what he meant, and she didn't want to know. She was heartbroken. She felt she had trusted the wrong person again. So that's all. Santiago was disappointing. She sent a message to Rita. She wanted to say she had been wrong. That she never should have trusted a man, especially not Santiago. She wanted to say he was a liar. That everything he promised before marriage disappeared right after. She wanted to say she'd find someone better. Someone who, at the very least, wouldn't refuse to give her money. She thought Rita might understand. After all, the one who had always been wrong was Santiago. She typed and deleted, rewrote and edited, until she finally just sent one sentence. Rita, I'll give Santiago back to you. She thought it was the perfect way to open the conversation. She waited for Rita to respond, to ask why. Then she could tell her everything. Maybe Rita would comfort her. Because clearly, Santiago was the one at fault. But once the message was sent, a red exclamation mark appeared. Rita has enabled friend verification. You are not friends yet. Please send a request and wait for approval before chatting. Julia stared at her phone for a long time. Then she slowly looked up, blank, hollow, for the first time. It felt like someone had slapped her across the face. Chapter 18. Julia and Santiago's marriage lasted only 6 months. Then she met some rich second-generation heir. She couldn't wait to leave Santiago and ran off with the other man. She didn't even want the child. What she didn't know was, that so-called rich heir was fake. He was a decoy Santiago had planted to trick her, all to make her agree to the divorce. By the time she realized it, it was already too late. Santiago sent Sofia back to the Ryan family. Because of what happened with Julia, he had completely fallen out with Ryan's parents. Not just them, others too. He wasn't just estranged. He had become utterly alone. So in the end, it wasn't surprising when Santiago was kicked out of everything. The only thing left was the child. But Santiago couldn't raise her properly. He didn't even know if he should. After all, his only intent from the start was to make up for his mistakes. Santiago lit cigarette after cigarette. He kept replaying every moment he shared with Julia, trying to figure out, at what point did it all go wrong? Was it the first time he went to her house late at night? The first time he cooked her a meal? The first time he neglected Rita because of her? Or maybe it was the day he gave Julia that 200,000 yuan. One wrong step, then another, and another, each mistake leading to the next. Too late for regrets.